What is up, everybody? It is, as some people like to say, hashtag Fur Free Friday. This is a hashtag I literally just found out about while researching this video because Fox News reports that PETA has called out rapper Big Boi for wearing a fur coat at the Super Bowl. They say their hearts sank. And I was really disappointed to see this. You know, I was watching the Super Bowl. I'm here based out of LA, so I was rooting for the Rams, although go Patriots, because I used to live in Boston. And I was really excited for the halftime show, not just because of the potential to see like SpongeBob Sweet Victory come on, but because it's traditionally a great performance. I know historically it's always been a really cool time. A lot of people talk about it. And I was excited to see what it was like this year. But then I was pretty annoyed when I saw Big Boi coming out in a fur coat because fur is just a very outdated fashion item. It is produced out of cruelty. You may not know this, but fur is actually, the skin from a dead animal. And I can understand, historically back in the day when there weren't other options available, that it might be popular, with trapping and fur farming and stuff like that. But today there are so many better options. So it was really disappointing to see. And it's great that groups are calling rapper Big Boi out for this because it was just a poor choice, in my opinion. I'm going to go into all the companies that have banned fur and some of the cities that have actually banned fur and actually countries. So companies, cities, and countries. But first, I'm going to dive into this article right here. So Big Boi performs during the Pepsi Super Bowl. I don't know which Super Bowl it was. Halftime show at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on February 3rd. And the animal rights group People for the Ethical Treatment of Animal is not happy that Big Boi sported a fur coat during his performance. They said their hearts sank. The PETA officials also encouraged him to donate the fur to the homeless, which, I think is a pretty good idea. He could win a lot of people over on that. But they wrote a letter. So a copy of the letter was obtained by Fox News, and they wrote a letter to Big Boi, which they feature down here. Our hearts sank when you took the stage with that fur coat. You have many fans here at PETA and around the country who love your music, and we're thrilled when it was announced that you were involved in the halftime show. Can we please convince you to make that your last appearance in a fur coat? So I think it's very commendable the way they worded the language there in their ask, but some of the social media posts around this event were not so favorable. So this person writes, poor animals were probably electrocuted for that stupid coat. And unfortunately, that is true. These animals that are being raised for fur are, this is pretty gross. You can look up how they're electrocuted on their own. But they're, kept in tiny cages, just like chickens being raised for eggs. They're just, victimized, all because they have something on their bodies that's valuable. Just imagine, being kept in a cage for your whole life and then being skinned for your, body. It's a pretty crappy situation for the animals that are trapped in the fur industry. And as this person writes, Big Boi really skinned every fox in the Western Hemisphere for that coat. Now, clearly, Big Boi did not skin the animals himself. He simply bought it. Very rarely do people who wear fur actually do any of the skinning or the raising of the animals themselves. So I think it's just a very hyperbolic statement. And then Eugene here, this medical doctor, said Big Boi wearing a fur coat during the Super Bowl is absolutely inhumane and disgusting. So generating a lot of attention. And this is right on the heels of cities like Los Angeles actually banning the sale of fur. Historically, cities like San Francisco, Berkeley, I believe, maybe not San Francisco, definitely West Hollywood. West Hollywood was one of the first cities to ban fur, but there have also been major fashion brands that have also banned fur. So this article that literally just came out 18 hours ago says every fashion brand that has banned fur from Chanel to Burberry. So getting into the article here, it says in 2019, it looks like fur is finally on its way out of the fashion industry. Burberry, Gucci, Versace, and Coach are just some of the major brands to take a stand against animal cruelty in recent years by banning the use of such items in their collections, opting for faux alternatives instead. And this is a fantastic shift in the industry because we simply don't need these products anymore. They're not necessity items. If you live in Los Angeles, you definitely do not need to be wearing a fur coat. I can understand in some of the northern states in Canada and northern parts of the northern hemisphere, but there are so many better alternatives. The technology has taken us so far, and I'm very thankful to see that these organizations are banning products from this cruel industry. So some of the photos that go behind fur farms, right here, you can see this animal trapped in cages, these animals trapped in cages, and these are pretty standard living conditions for these animals. I did a video a while back talking about mink farming from the farmer's perspective, so if you've not checked out that video, go check it out. It's really insightful. I learned a lot from it, and it's always good to meet people halfway, because we have competing interests here. We've got farmers who want to have these products, and then we've got other people who find them cruel and inhumane and don't want them to be sold. So it's good to understand both sides of the issue and then come to a common understanding. But getting into some of the brands that have banned fur, we've got Coach, Chanel, Gucci, Michael Kors, Victoria Beckham, Burberry, Jimmy Choo, Versace, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, J. Crew, Calvin Klein, and I'm skipping over some of the ones I can't pronounce just out of respect. But then also the high street stores like Mango, Gap, H&M, Topshop, Urban Outfitters, and Zara have all banned fur, in addition to these retailers right here. So lastly, I'm just going to conclude by, if you just search hashtag fur free on Twitter, you come up with so much amazing news, such as the Czech Republic finally banning fur farms. I think they're called Czechia these days, so I don't think Czech Republic is like the common phrase. Anyways, we've got the city of Los Angeles becoming the largest city to ban fur sales, with this Group 1 protest thanking the city. As we scroll down, some cruel images talking about the Ukrainian parliament introducing a proposal to end fur farming. And then Humane Society International showing you exactly what's going on in the fur industry. But anyways, so while it's a bit disappointing that, Big Boi represented fur on such a global scale this past Super Bowl, I'm glad to see that so many organizations are calling for the peaceful prohibition of the use of fur and wearing fur. I think personally, it's so outdated and just incredibly cruel that I don't know, it's a personal choice these days. So it says something about that individual's values and what they're willing to put out in the world. And, who knows? Big Boi could just very well be ignorant of this whole thing and be unaware of the consequences that he was intending. So anyways, let me know what you think on this whole thing. Do you think that Big Boi should donate his coat to the homeless? Do you think that these companies who are banning fur are on the right side of history here? Or do you think that this product's really important? Let me know in the comment section below. You can continue on the conversation on Twitter. It's going to be at Hendrickson News. And then on all the other social media platforms, it is at Hendrickson Media. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope you have an incredible day wherever you are. And please do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button. It really helps us out. We're slowly creeping up there. We just started this year, and I just really appreciate you taking the time to watch. So thank you so much, and stay tuned for more cool videos.